Hey everyone, Stephanie here, coffee drinker, book lover, and reviewer of many things. I am drinking tea. It is peppermint ginger sweetened with honey. It is Christmas Eve right now. I know this is going to come out the day after Christmas, so Merry Christmas, and I hope you had a great holiday. Let me know what you did in the comments for Christmas Day. I know not everybody celebrates. I got my Nightmare Before Christmas sweater on. It's not cold enough for a sweater. I'm wearing shorts with this, and I'll probably roll up my sleeves sometime during this. I have a book from the 2024 Preteen Teen Reading Challenge. That is why we're here. I know, it took me forever to get to that. But I also want to let you know that if you hear dogs barking or rumbling noises in the background, it's raining. And every time the trees blow in the wind, the dogs, I guess, panic. They think the shadow is someone walking past a window. And my kid is watching Blippi. So if you hear Blippi in the background, she's doing her thing. But I finished Redwall by Brian Jacques. Anyway. This is going to be the last book that I read off the challenge this year for the preteen and teen challenge for 2024 because my library doesn't have the Magician's Nephew. I also know that it's technically the last book in the Chronicles of Narnia, but I've been told to read it as the first because it makes the other ones make more sense. I've never read Chronicles of Narnia, so I hope that's true. So I am using the Libby app, or I used the Libby app to read Redwall. I was like, why are you at the bottom of the page? It is 11 hours and 37 minutes long. So make sure you have some time before you read this one. It's a really cute book. Probably not for a 9-year-old. Maybe. There is some language. I'd say if you're okay with your kid reading and listening to or watching all of the Harry Potter, this could be okay. Clooney the Scourge is a little harsh. I don't know. This is not one that I listened to out loud. My kid hasn't seen the last 3 Harry Potter movies for a reason. Yeah, they're a bit scary. Anyway, so I'm gonna read the summary. I was like, this thing? I can never remember the name. Summary, synopsis. This thing? I read it on my tablet. It's an old tablet. It's okay. It's a little slow sometimes. We do what we gotta do. This is the only way I could read it, and I was determined to get through as many books as possible. So, here we go. The book that inspired a legend, the first novel in the best-selling saga of Redwall. Welcome to Mossflower Wood, where the gentle mice have gathered to celebrate a year of peace and abundance. All is well until a sinister shadow falls across the ancient stone abbey of Redwall. It is rumored that Clooney is coming. Clooney, the terrible one-eyed rat, and his savage horde. Clooney, who has vowed to conquer Redwall Abbey. The only hope for the besieged mice lies in the lost sword of the legendary Martin the Warrior. And so the epic quest of a bumbling young apprentice, a courageous mouse who would rise up and fight back, and become a legend himself. The medieval world of Redwall Abbey. where a gallant warrior mouse triumphs over evil invaders, has truly become the stuff of legends. So yeah, this was a super, it's a super fun, exciting book. There is some, war talk, strategy talk. That part's not as exciting to me because that's not who I am. But I know some people that would be really into this. So I say this might not be okay for your preteen, but really it depends on you. I don't know if I already said that. Probably did. But I put this on the list because when I was 16, I worked in a kitchen. And I worked in the dining room, and then in the kitchen I made salads and desserts, and then I served lunch and drinks to elderly people, and they were great. But there was always this period of time where there was nothing to do. Once I finished my task, I had to wait 30 minutes to an hour before it was time to start serving food. So that was my little break. And one day I had finished the book that I was reading. I don't even remember what I was reading. And the older guy that I worked with, he also worked with my mom. He was like a grandpa to me. I loved him. He was like, "Oh, you need something else to read?" And I was like, "I mean, I can just sit here. It's fine." And he was like, "I'll be right back." And he lived in the apartments it was an elderly apartment community thing, and he lived there because he was the on staff all the time or whatever. And so he went to his apartment and he came back with Redwall. And so I read it. And it was really good. And so later I bought it. He also let me read the Dresden Files. He specifically said, "Don't tell your mom." I think I was 17, 18. Not a kid book. Probably not a teen book either. Anyway, Redwall is definitely an older teen book. Like I said, there is some strategy talk. It's about a mouse. And it's cute because his name is Matthias, and his sandals are too big, and he's tripping over himself, and he will get lost in thought sometimes, thinking about how he's working on becoming a brother of the Redwall Abbey. And there's one character, I can't remember his name, but he's like the head guy of the Abbey. Father Abbott, I think is what they call him, actually. And he's like, you may have more to life than this. And Matthias is like, "Oh no, this is what I dreamed to do," and the Father Abbott is just kind of like, "Okay, well, we need to work on getting you some shoes that fit." And a bunch of stuff happens, and when they know that Matthias is destined for more, when he talks to a bird, when a bird, okay, so they solve this riddle, they're trying to find this sword, and they send a squirrel up to go find it, and while she's up there, she's attacked by some sparrows. One of them does get shot. They're peaceful mice, so they're not trying to shoot to kill. They're trying to shoot to just scare them away, and a little bird gets in the way and comes falling down. And I think they catch her, to be honest, so that she doesn't actually get hurt in the fall. And they have her trapped because she's talking about trying to eat them. And big talk. And Matthias is standing guard, and he says something to her, and she answers him, and he understands her for the most part. And when Father Abbott comes and he's like, I think the sparrows might have the sword because she said something. And he, immediately he's like, what? You understand her? And he's like, kind of, yeah, sort of. And kind of like, is that weird? And he goes through, he tries to take her back. And when he does, he gets captured by the other sparrows, and he learns how to communicate with them, and he becomes friends with some of them because he's looking for this sword, and he can't find the sword, by the way. They don't have the sword, they just have the case. And then he learns what happened to the sword, and then he has to go find a mouse's worst enemy, which is a slithering snake, Asmodeus. And on his journey to try to find the snake, he runs into these other mouse-type creatures. They're the gypsies. I can't remember what they're actually called, but they're like, they didn't never come to the Abbey, so they're kind of wild. And they're kind of a lot. And so they sent him, he's supposed to be trying to get to an owl, which is another enemy of a mouse, by the way. And these wild gypsy mice send him into this barn where there's a cat. And the cat is like, no, I don't. He was like, I was just trying to scare you. I didn't actually want you in my mouth. And then the mouse explains where the owl is, and then Matthias goes back out to the gypsies and is like, you didn't tell me there was a cat in there. And they're like, oh yeah, we forgot. Anyway, it's hilarious. And then they have to go and meet with the owl, and then the owl talks about where last seen the snake, and then some of the gypsies, not all of them, and Matthias go looking for the snake in the area and there's like, everyone he encounters is like, well, if you can do this, then I'll do that, and like so on and so forth. And guess who does it? And he makes a lot of people become friends without trying. And then you find out there's this one part where a spirit talks through him, and you find out that there is more to this little bumbling, fallen down over himself mouse. There is something deeper inside of him. And it wraps up real nicely. Obviously, it's going to have a happy-ish ending. There are other books in the series, and I actually don't know. I've never read the rest of the series, so I don't know. I thought this one wrapped up so nicely that I didn't want to read the next book. Yeah, it's cute. My favorite character is the rabbit, the hare, who wants to be a stag. He is witty and jumps around, and he teaches Matthias how to bob and weave. And he like tires out the Clooney's scourge, or the people who are standing charge, because Matthias goes and tries to save a family of moles. Moles. Anyway, that family. Clooney tries to do several different ways of getting into the Abbey, and some of them it's like, did you really think that was gonna work? It's funny. I think there is a few words that are not kid appropriate used. I can't remember for sure. I think DAMN is used. She can spell, so I'm trying to be fast while she's not paying attention. And yeah, they're not the hardcore words, just some light words. And there's a little bit of a mystery involved because did he lick you? There's a little bit of mystery involved because they have to decipher a code on the wall, and it's a very fast-paced book. For the most part, I mean, there are, like all books, there's a few slow spots, but it's pretty fast-paced. When I first was told to read this book when I was like 16, I was like, I'm a little bit old to read, children's books about mice and about animals. But I'm glad that the guy I worked with, his name was Skip. Well, we called him Skip. I think his name was Charles. I'm glad that he mentioned this book to me way back then. Way back. Oh my gosh. Way back. And I'm glad that I read it again. I'm glad I listened to it. If you're going to listen to a dramatized version of it because it makes it way more exciting. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Anything else I need to talk about? This book came out October 9th, 2006. Is that right? Or at least that's what it says. Its release date. Maybe that was release date for listening to it. I feel like the book is older than that. I don't know. Anyway. How many books are in the Redwall series? Oh. Looks like there are 21 books in the series. If you're gonna read the series. Like I said, I think that the first book wraps up nicely, so you don't have to read the next book. But if you enjoy long series, maybe you can read one a month until you finish the series. I am gonna give a little spoiler, because I can't do a book review without spoilers. There's this one part when Clooney's people are trying to get into the Redwall and they dig a tunnel and they're digging like under the walls and their plan is to come up in the not the throne room, but like the courtroom, I don't know. And so they know that this is one of his tricks, and so they have moles listening, and they hear to find out where they are. And when they get close to being at the breaking through, they get a bunch of the mice get a bunch of hot boiling water, and just as they pop through, they dump the boiling water and wash them out. It's one of my favorite scenes because I'm like, and the other part that I really liked is before Father Abbott passes away. Yes, he dies. He gets replaced. He calls forth the person to take over his spot, and he's like, I need you, you are going to take my position, and it's all heroic, and like, and then he's like, Matthias, come here, and he tells Matthias, you are not going to become a brother. This is my last wish. And, he's all like, oh, but why not? And he's like, because you are a warrior, and a warrior needs a good wife. And he calls Cornflower over, which is the one everyone knows they have kind of a flirtation going. And so then he's like, you two will be married as soon as you're ready, and you're gonna have this as your house. And that's like his last will, I guess, and it's heard by all these people. And so that's like, oh. And then you learn that they have kids. I mean, they're mice, so it was gonna happen. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about this book. I like this book. I hope you like this book too. I'm gonna talk about my adult challenge real fast. I am still reading Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and that is probably going to be the last book that I read of this year, considering I have 6 days to get it read, and I don't see getting anything else read this year that's on the list. It's on the list. In the beginning of the new year, I will do a video talking about all the books that I've read this year. Not like in depth, just like I read this book and that book and this book. So keep an eye out for that. And if I do finish Before the Coffee Gets Cold before the 30th, I'll make a video and try to get it posted on the 31st. We'll see what happens. That's it. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments about this book, leave them in the comment section. If you want to get this book, you can go to the description and I'll leave a link for it. It's from my Amazon account, so I do get a small portion of the sales price. And I'll leave links also for the challenges for next year so that you can start getting your books for the next year's challenge. I already got 4 books for next year's challenges. I'm doing 3 challenges, and that's a lot of books to get through. It's okay. It's okay. I'll do it to the best of my ability. And subscribe, because seeing people like my videos makes me happy, and it makes me feel like I'm making a difference. So if you're not sure if you want to subscribe, you can click my face down here. It'll take you to my channel, and you can check out other videos that I make, and share this video, because sharing is caring, and someone else might need to know about Redwall. Like, I feel like this more hype should be about this book. Like, I didn't even know about this book until I was 16 and 17. I don't know, somewhere around that. And I haven't really heard much about it. So, yeah, hype it up. Share this video. I will see you on my next video or in the new year. We'll see which one happens first. Bye!